The glitz and glamour of Hollywood often mask a darker, more volatile reality where fame brings not only fortune, but also unwanted, dangerous attention. Throughout the history of cinema, stars have had to navigate the fragile boundary between public adulation and private safety.
An intent to kill as a result of premeditation and deliberation. It's been thought out. He has decided to do it. He's bought a gun for the purpose. He's bought a bus ticket. He's taken the bus. He's come over there. He's loaded the gun prior to the first visit. He's ready to kill. He has considered the reasons for and against it, and having done so, he has decided to kill.
However, no event shattered the illusion of celebrity security quite like the tragic, senseless murder of Rebecca Schaeffer. On a bright summer morning in 1989, a 21-year-old rising star was brutally gunned down on her own doorstep by an obsessed fan. It was a crime born of profound psychological delusion, facilitated by shockingly lax privacy laws. Rebecca's untimely death did more than just break the hearts of millions. It fundamentally altered American legislation, forcing a reckoning that birthed the world's very first. Anti-stalking laws and permanently closed loopholes that allowed everyday citizens to be tracked to their front doors. To understand the profound impact of her loss, one must first look at the radiant life of Rebecca Lucille Schaeffer. Born in Eugene, Oregon, to a child psychologist and a writer, Rebecca grew up in a nurturing intellectual environment. Blessed with striking looks, a curly mane of dark hair, and an inherently gentle, expressive disposition, she began modeling during her teenage years. Her aspirations quickly pivoted toward acting, a passion that drove her to move to New York City alone at the age of 16. After scoring minor roles in soap operas and commercials, Rebecca caught her monumental break in 1986. She was cast as Patty Russell in the CBS television sitcom My Sister Sam, starring alongside seasoned actress Pam Dauber. The show was an instant commercial success. Audiences fell in love with Rebecca's portrayal of a bubbly, innocent teenager navigating life with her older sister. Her infectious laugh and down-to-earth persona resonated deeply with viewers, transforming her into a household name and a beloved teen idol across America. By 1989, My Sister Sam had concluded, and Rebecca was eager to transition into serious, mature cinematic roles. She moved into a charming, modest apartment building on Sweetser Avenue in West Hollywood. She was thriving, deeply in love with her boyfriend, an aspiring director, and stood on the precipice of global superstardom. On the fateful morning of July 18, 1989, she was preparing for an audition that every young actress in Hollywood coveted, a leading role in Francis Ford Coppola's highly anticipated masterpiece, The Godfather Part III. While Rebecca was building a life defined by creativity and ambition, a dark, suffocating shadow was enveloping a young man hundreds of miles away in Tucson, Arizona. John Bardo was a deeply troubled 19-year-old high school dropout. Suffering from severe, untreated mental health issues, Bardo lived a life of extreme isolation, retreating entirely into a fantasy world constructed around the celebrities he saw on television. Before focusing on Rebecca, Bardo had developed obsessive fixations on child peace activist Samantha Smith and pop singer Tiffany. However, once he laid eyes on Rebecca Schaeffer in My Sister Sam, his focus narrowed into a dangerous, monolithic fixation. Over 3 years, Bardo's bedroom walls became a shrine dedicated entirely to Rebecca. He recorded every episode of her show, collected every magazine clipping featuring her face, and wrote her dozens of fan letters. In 1987, Rebecca's production staff responded to one of Bardo's letters with a standard, polite autographed photograph and a brief note thanking him for his support. To a rational mind, it was a routine public relations gesture. To Bardo's fractured psyche, it was an intimate, highly personal declaration of mutual affection. He became convinced that he and Rebecca shared a unique, cosmic bond. Bardo attempted to cross the boundary from fan to acquaintance twice by traveling to Los Angeles to visit the set of My Sister Sam. Fortunately, during those initial visits, studio security guards recognized his erratic behavior, intercepted him, and sent him back to Arizona. Thwarted but not deterred, Bardot's obsession simmered under the surface until a single cinematic moment turned his perceived love into a deadly, vindictive rage. In mid-1989, Rebecca starred in a provocative black comedy film titled Scenes from the Class Struggle in Beverly Hills. In one specific scene, her character engaged in a romantic bedroom encounter with an actor. When Bardot viewed the film, his fragile mind snapped. He felt a profound sense of personal betrayal. In his warped, puritanical delusion, Rebecca had thrown away her innocence to become just another Hollywood whore. He decided that she had to be punished for her perceived sins, writing in a letter to his sister, "I have an obsession with the unattainable, and I have to eliminate what I cannot attain." Driven by a desire for ultimate retribution, Bardot acquired a massive .357 Magnum handgun, a weapon his older brother, a casual collector, had helped him purchase. He then sought a way to locate Rebecca's private residence. In a chilling demonstration of resourcefulness, Bardot paid an Arizona private detective agency a mere $250 to find her home address. The detective simply contacted the California Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV, obtained Rebecca's address through her driver's license registration records, and handed it over to Bardot. At the time, this transaction was completely legal. Armed with a loaded firearm and Rebecca's exact address, Bardot boarded a bus from Tucson to Los Angeles. On the morning of July 18, 1989, he walked up the steps of Rebecca's West Hollywood apartment complex. At approximately 10:00 a.m., the doorbell rang. Rebecca, who was clad in a bathrobe and eagerly anticipating the arrival of a script for her Godfather audition, opened the door. Instead of a courier, she found a disheveled stranger holding her autographed photo and a book. Bardot explained he was a massive fan who had traveled far to meet her. Displaying the grace and kindness that defined her character, Rebecca smiled, shook his hand, and politely explained that she was in a tremendous rush to prepare for an interview, asking him to take care. Bardot walked away, seemingly placated. He walked to a nearby diner, ate a robust breakfast, and brooded over the brief interaction. The demonic impulses in his mind grew louder, convincing him that she had been dismissive of him. Exactly 1 hour later, Bardot returned to the apartment building and rang the bell a second time. Assuming the courier had finally arrived, Rebecca hurried down the stairs and opened the heavy door. As soon as she faced him, Bardot pulled the .357 Magnum from a plastic bag and fired a single shot directly into her chest at point-blank range. A deafening blast shattered the quiet neighborhood. Rebecca screamed, "Why? Why?" before collapsing onto the cold stone floor of her entryway. Bardot turned and fled down the street, tossing the murder weapon into a gutter. Neighbors rushed to the scene upon hearing the gunshot and called emergency services, but the damage was catastrophic. Rebecca Schaeffer was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. The news of Rebecca's murder sent shockwaves through Hollywood and the wider world. The entertainment industry was paralyzed with fear. Suddenly, every actor and musician realized how accessible and utterly vulnerable they truly were. The public mourned the senseless theft of a young life overflowing with potential. John Bardot was arrested the following day in Tucson, Arizona, after motorists spotted him running erratically through highway traffic, screaming that he had killed Rebecca Schaeffer. He was extradited to California to stand trial. Lead prosecutor Marcia Clark, who would later achieve global fame during the O.J. Simpson trial, presented an airtight case detailing Bardot's meticulous planning and deep-seated malice. In 1991, Bardot was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. However, the true climax of Rebecca Schaeffer's tragedy lies in the profound legacy of protection she left behind. The investigation exposed a terrifying structural vulnerability. In American society, the ease with which anyone could buy a person's home address. Through public DMV records, Rebecca's grief-stricken parents, alongside her My Sister Sam co-star Pam Dauber, channeled their immense sorrow into fierce political activism. Their efforts sparked an immediate legislative revolution. The world's first anti-stalking law. In 1990, California passed the landmark Senate Bill 2184, establishing stalking as a distinct, recognizable felony criminal offense for the first time in human history. Prior to this law, police could not intervene or arrest individuals who followed, harassed, or threatened someone until physical violence had already occurred. This statute served as a legal blueprint, prompting all 50 U.S. states and nations across the globe to enact their own anti-stalking laws. The Driver's Privacy Protection Act, DPPA. In 1994, the United States Congress passed a sweeping federal law that prohibited state DMVs from disclosing the private, residential addresses, and personal information of licensed drivers to the general public. Rebecca Schaeffer's life was a beautiful symphony cut short by a single, catastrophic note of madness. She was a daughter, a friend, a brilliant actress, and an innocent soul whose only crime was kindness. While her death remains a heartbreaking reminder of the devastating consequences of mental illness and obsession, her enduring legacy is one of profound protection. The laws enacted in the wake of her passing have saved countless lives, providing a vital